Don't do that. Don't do that, Mocha. It's not even football season yet. Don't do that. All right, the other series, Kawhi puts up 39 and 14. Raptors beat the 76ers 101-96. Kawhi hits a clutch three-pointer. As much as I want the 76ers to win, I'm starting to lean now towards Toronto. Here's why. Ben Simmons scored 10 points. 10. That is not enough. Joel Embiid scored 11. He was sick. He said he needed an IV at 6 in the morning. And I'm not going to hold that against him. Because what people like to do, which if you watch the post game, you got Charles Barkley talking about, or you got Kenny Smith talking about, well, Jordan had the flu game. Everyone is not Jordan. Okay? Everyone is not Jordan. No one with the temperature that high can get on the floor and do what Jordan did. Joel Embiid is not Jordan. So I'm not going to put him in that category, first of all. Second of all, everybody handles sickness differently. But at the end of the day, you got to come back. You got to come back. Game 5, you got to come back. You got to play harder. Joel Embiid needs to do whatever he needs to do to get back healthy. Jimmy Butler had 29, 11, and 4. But Kawhi is showing what it is, and specifically last night, he showed what it is to be in a playoff game and to do what you need to do in the clutch. Kawhi has been there. Kawhi has done it before. The knock on the 76ers has always been that they haven't done it before, that they're still learning, that they're still trying to get to that point. But flat out, the roster does not match. If you put the roster paper to paper, to me, the lineups do not match up. But Toronto's winning. The series is now tied. We got Game 5 coming up tomorrow. And this game is going to be in Toronto. So Toronto fans are going to be going crazy. Home court advantage does matter. Shout out to my pops. Thank you for tuning in. If Simmons can score, Philly could win it all. That's what I would love to see. But when it comes down to it, the 76ers, their paper does not equal what is on the floor. At least that's not what equaled last night. So I don't want to diminish the Sixers because I'll pick them to go to the finals from the beginning, but I just don't know if that's still going to happen. And I'm starting to kind of change my thinking and starting to imagine maybe it won't happen. Maybe the Sixers won't get past this round. I don't know. Games on tap for tonight. We got Bucks, Celtics. Milwaukee now up 2-1. I'm eating crow on this one because I just wasn't expecting Milwaukee to have enough to be able to go up 2-1, honestly. But look at what the Bucks are doing. So whatever, and that's what makes the playoffs great. It's a game by game. Game by game, different things happen. People score differently. But I wanted to bring up the point, another part of the post game on NBA on TNT. Charles Barkley says that Boston will not win another game. Charles is so comical. I love the guy, but I think that's completely false. How is Boston not going to win one more game? Milwaukee's only up 2-1. He acts as if they're up 3-1 or they're up 3-0 or something. And so I don't agree with Chuck. You guys give me your opinion. Do you think Boston can win this series? Do you think they won't win another game? Give me your thoughts and opinions. But the Eastern Conference series have been neck and neck too. There really isn't a clear-cut shot. In reference to Chief Rocka's show, part of the title of his show is that there's not a clear-cut shot for who's going to win in these playoffs. And he's right. There's not a clear cut where you just say, yeah, that person's going to win. You can't really say it confidently. You can't, because of these playoffs, especially in this round, have just been so up and down. Players getting hurt, which changes things. One thing I do want to point out for this game 4 tonight, Malcolm Brogdon will not be playing, as well as Marcus Smart hopes to play this game. Marcus Smart could definitely add some defensive presence to them, so be on the lookout for that. My man Courtney Harden says Kawhi continues to be a problem as long as he keeps getting help from Siakam, Lowry, Danny Green, Gasol, Ibaka. Sixers can't beat them. Which to me, that is sad. That is just sad, but it's the truth. H-Rap says no to both, and that's to my question: will the Celtics not win another game? According to Charles Barkley, Kyrie needs to be selfish and take over. He does. I don't know if he's going to do that. I do think with the Celtics roster, though, Jason Tatum is going to give you a solid double-double, probably a night, 20, 10. Al Horford's going to give you whatever it is he needs to give you. You add Marcus Smart back to this, that means he's going to be D'ing up. He's going to be the agitator. He may hit a 3 every once in a while. So that's something to look forward to in tonight's game. I don't know if Brogdon's going to come back at all, honestly, in these whole playoffs, because he has been out. I think it's his wrist, if I'm not mistaken. But Brogdon would definitely add a lot. If they're able to get Brogdon back, that was a huge part of their regular season. So being able to have him would definitely add some firepower that I think they would need, and that would possibly propel them going forward to the next round. So it's the NBA playoffs, though, man. This is exciting basketball. This is when the real basketball begins. That was the title for one of my shows. The real basketball begins in the playoffs. Everything else is an exhibition. Everything else is just notching for position. Is all that really comes down to. So shout out to Holly Newsom. Happy anniversary to Holly Newsom and her husband, Brian, I believe is his name. So let's give a round of applause. Also, X Squad affiliate, Two Live Stews radio listener, Rel Scott and his wife, celebrating their anniversary as well. So big ups to them. Big Mo, thank you for tuning in. Got a comment here from Pops. Actually, Mo Cheese says he needs to be selfish, and I still think they get beat, says Mo Cheese. Where is Tatum? Great point. Let me see another comment here. My heart's with Philly, but my eyes see a Kawhi who is unstoppable, and the 76ers role players are not stepping up. Agree with you, Pops. They have to. You have to. You cannot just have your 3 stars score all of your points, because say they score 30 each. That's only 90. That's not enough to win an NBA playoff game. So you have to have your bench players come in, and shout out to Big Mo. They had their pilot show, the Tiger Park show, which was entertaining. So shout out to you guys' new show on X Squad Radio. Keep it locked so you can listen out for new content from them. So I'm up for grabs in every series except the Warriors and Rockets. That's the only one. But Celtics, Bucks, that's a flip of the coin. Depending on what 76ers team you get, is a flip of the coin with Toronto. Denver and Portland are tied. But there's some other news and notes around the NBA that I also want to touch on. First up, the Suns hired their coach, Monty Williams, 76ers assistant. So the Lakers are no longer in the hunt for Monty Williams, and it seems like the Lakers are all in. I'm talking about all the chips in, the chips, the house. They're putting all their eggs and chips and money and whatever else you want to put in the basket on Ty Lue. Ty Lue will be the coach. I don't know if it's been announced yet. You got Phil Jackson endorsing him. It's going to happen. They might as well just go ahead and announce it now. I don't know what they're waiting on. Just go ahead and say it. It's pretty much a wrap. But Phil Jackson is endorsing Ty Lue. The Grizzlies are looking for their new head coach. They are interviewing Jerron Collins, assistant coach for the Warriors. You may have another assistant coach from the Warriors become a head coach. In other Warriors news, the Boogie Cousins could possibly return back to the Warriors. This postseason, I would say no. If I was Boogie, I would say no. Because your future max contract deal is already over with going into this offseason. So you do not want to mess it up more. But he could go either way, because what if he really, really wants to win a championship? Because if you get a ring and he only played 5.5 games the whole season, I know people say, well, you contributed somewhat, so you get a ring. You get a ring, you get one. But it's not the same when you help contribute on the floor in the playoffs. So it could go either way. If I was him, I would sit. That's what I would do, because I don't know how you could be at 100% or be at enough percent to be able to come back. So that's a discussion that I'm sure he's having with himself and with the staff and everybody. But if Boogie does come back, you have to be able to help the team. You can't come back and be 50%, because you're almost hindering the team more than you're helping them. So that's a big question, though. Huge question mark right there. Monty Williams, a great hire for the Suns. Now the Suns need to turn it around, says Courtney. I think he is a great hire. I agree. They got to get some more players in there. I don't like seeing Devin Booker on that team, because to me it's wasting away his great years that he could be potentially winning a championship. But I think they'll get it together, because also their GM is, what's that guy's name? He played with LeBron. Every stop LeBron went to, he was there. His last name is Jones. If somebody knows that name, put that in the chat room. No announcement for Lou, and you still have folks pushing for Juwan. I like Juwan Howard, but Juwan Howard is not Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue has a huge advantage in this whole situation. And if Juwan Howard gets hired for this job, I would be shocked. James Jones, thank you, Kev. James Jones is doing something special with this team. I think he has that GM mindset. I think he can build a team. Just got to give him time. And I think he'll be able to do it. Him, Monty Williams, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, add some more people. They could make some noise in the West. They could definitely make some noise in the West. So be on the lookout for that. Wojciechowski